Welcome to the third segment of the Chapter 2 Excel demo. I'm glad you returned. Here we go. The next thing we're going to do is write a few more formulas. And you should probably be familiar with some of these because some of them are going to be sums, but then we'll introduce some new formulas. So this first one, I'm going to sum the hours worked by all the workers. Now, when you're doing this, take a minute to think about, does it make sense to even add this up? Well, in this case it does, because you might want to know how many hours are your employees putting in total. How many hours of work are you getting out of your employees? So this does make sense to add it up. And to do that, I went up to the Auto Sum button, I clicked that down, and I chose Sum. And when I did that, Excel, as I showed you before, looks up and it says, oh, I see a whole bunch of numbers. Is this what you want me to add? And the way you know it's asking you the question is by those marching ants, right, that go around your selection. So I've got the marching ants. It's saying, is this what you want to add? And it wrote the formula for me. So let's take a look at that formula. It says equals, doing math, add a bunch of stuff up, sum, and then in parentheses it gives a range, and the range is D4 to D12. What we're telling Excel is add all the numbers in between those two cells. To set that in, we can either press Enter or we can press Tab. We need to write formulas for the rest of our cells here. To do that, we're going to use the Sum button. You'll highlight the cells that you want to add, and this is again another great feature, a big time saver. If you can get Excel to do work for you, then why should you work? That's what I say. So we're going to get Excel to work for us. I highlighted the cells that I want to put formulas in, and I'm going to go back up to the Auto Sum button up in here in the top in the ribbon, and I'm going to choose Auto Sum. Click it, and you can see right away all my cells appeared down below in the total row. Automatically it again summed each column on its own. Take a look at each of the formulas that was written for each of the columns here. As I move across, take a look in that big red circle there and see that Excel adjusted each formula for the column that it was in. We don't actually want to add up percentages. That's bad math. What we actually want to do is just calculate this percentage again. And to do that, we'll write the exact same formula that we wrote up above. You can use copy and paste on the ribbon, or you can drag and fill it from J12 down to J13, which is what I'm going to do, so that I get the same formula here that I have up above. And it's taking my total numbers and creating that number. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to use our Auto Sum button to do some additional formula work. Now let's create additional formulas that calculate the average, highest, and lowest numbers for each of our columns. The first one we're going to do is average. When I click, I do equals for doing math, and when I start to type average, you can see it pops up in a little shortcut menu there. And I'll select average, and then I'm going to tell it what I want it to average, and I'm going to do that by highlighting the range. And it didn't find it automatically because it has a blank cell on all four sides, so it can't just figure it out automatically. So I need to highlight a range, and there's my range, C4 to C12. Put on a back parenthesis here, and then press Enter. So my average dependence for my workers is 1 1/3 dependent. Now I'm going to calculate the highest number in a range. And to do that, I'm going to click Doing Math. And this time I'm going to use that function button that's next to the formula bar to bring up the insert function dialog box. In here, I know it's already showing, but I'm going to show you how to search for it. I'm going to type in the search box max, and then go, and it found my function for me, and then I select it and click OK, and that brings up a help box. Now this box is fabulous for figuring out functions that you want to use. It walks you through step by step and tells you exactly what you need to do. So you can read in the bottom half of the window there that this function returns the largest value in a set of values and ignores logical values and text. So it won't evaluate letters, it will only evaluate numbers. And in that first box there we're going to put in our numbers that we want evaluated. In this case it's going to be a range, and I'm going to type it in. So C4 to C12. And you can see here it also, to the right of that box, shows what each of the values is that's going to be evaluating. And then the very first bit on the bottom half of the dialog box tells you what the answer is. It says equals 3. And I'm going to click OK. So that's our highest number, and if you look up above you can see 3 actually is the highest number in that range. Now we're going to do the min function. For this one I'm going to use the auto sum drop down. I'm going to choose min, and right away it says, oh, do you want to find the lowest number out of these two numbers? Because it saw that there were numbers right above it, and that's actually not what we want to do, right? We want to use that bigger range up above. So I'm going to go, nope, that's not what I want you to do, marching ants. I want you to evaluate this range instead, and I highlighted it. Then all I have to do is click enter. Is that the lowest number in my range? It sure is. 0 is the lowest number in that range of cells. Now we're going to use the drag and fill function to copy those formulas all the way across our document here. So, and I can highlight all three of these items just as I did before and drag them over. There's my little plus sign you can see that I've got. I'm clicking and I'm dragging. I have my autofill options button popped up again in the bottom right corner there. I'm not going to do anything with it. I just wanted to point out that it's there. Again, mathematically you cannot average percentages, so I'm going to remove that bit in J14. Take that number out, just click on it and press the delete key so that that disappears. Now I'm going to use the range finder to verify a formula. This is just a quick and easy way to say, oh, what did I do with that formula again? And you double click on a cell that you want to take a look at, and when you've done that you can see that it will highlight all the bits that are involved in the formula in that section. There you can see I've highlighted it, and it references each of the items and color codes each of the items that is involved in that formula. That is the end of this segment of our recording. Please be sure that you listen to all of the segments so you can see the entire assignment done from beginning to end.